Hello, my name is David Moskovich, and this is my presentation of the Bialystoker Synagogue in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Throughout this presentation, I will be referring to the slides by the number on the tab on the top right hand of your screen. Now let us begin. The Bialystoker Synagogue is located on 7 Willett Street, New York, on the Lower East Side. Architect is unknown, the year built was 1826, and the style is a late Federal. This building was first designed as the Willett Street Methodist Church and was purchased by a community of Polish immigrants in 1905. The interior was revived and painted during the Great Depression in order to bring hope and inspiration to the community members. The synagogue was listed as a New York City landmark on April 19, 1966. St. Joseph's Church, located on 371 6th Avenue, New York in Greenwich Village, has the architect of John Doran. It was built in 1834, and the style is Greek Revival. This building is the oldest church in New York City, specifically built to be a Roman Catholic sanctuary. The interior has since gone through a number of renovations. Both structures are rectilinear and symmetrical, topped with a pediment. Each have their respective religious symbol crowning the pediment, a Star of David and a cross. Both buildings have molded half-round arches which will be evident throughout the presentation. Gated stairs lead up to the raised entrance of both buildings. Each building has 2 main floors, an attic and a sub-level or basement. Lastly, both buildings have main central double wooden doors, flanked by another set on either side. The doors in St. Joseph's Church are facing the main door, and thus you cannot see them. Differences include New York schist, concrete, and wood in the Bialystoker Synagogue versus wood and stucco in St. Joseph's. 3 bays versus 5 bays. The Bialystoker's entrance is plain and flush with the facade, while St. Joseph's has 2 large columns topped with an entablature and suppressed entrance. The Bialystoker Synagogue has plain corners, while St. Joseph's has coined corners. One is darker, while the other is lighter. One has brown stained doors, while the other has a vibrant red set of doors. And lastly, the Bialystoker Synagogue has a lunette window in the pediment. In slide 4, you can clearly see the gated stairs leading up to the raised entrance of the building, and the main double wooden doors flanked by the secondary doors on either side. Some differences now up close are the dark brown stained doors versus vibrant red. The entrance of the Bialystoker Synagogue is plain and flush with the facade, while St. Joseph's has 2 large columns and the suppressed entrance, as we've seen before. And lastly, the doors are topped with half-round arch stained glass windows, versus the lintel with scrollings on the posts. Slide 5 shows the buildings from a corner angle. You can see that both buildings have multicolored New York schist, the sub-levels are apparent through window wells, and the 5 bays of double-height molded stained glass windows. It is more evident in this slide to see the tall half-rounded arch windows. It is worth to note that if you look closely, both indeed have coinings around the molding. If we move inside both sanctuaries, we can see that both have 3-sided balconies or galleries, supported by thin columns with center-facing pews. The first floor pews are mostly front-facing, but the pews flanking the dais are center-facing. The ceilings hang 3 central chandeliers and is slightly vaulted or curved. The tall stained windows are both suppressed into the wall, and both ceiling designs have or suggest coffering. One difference is obvious. The Bialystoker is vibrantly colorful with paintings and designs, while the St. Joseph's Church is plain white. The Bialystoker has red carpeting versus marble flooring, elaborately ornamented bima and ark versus simple dais and images that suggest an ark. And lastly, a metal railing with curtains versus the wooden urn baluster in the St. Joseph's Church. If we take a closer look, we can see that both have pitched balconies supported by columns. The columns in the Bialystoker Synagogue are thin brown Corinthian columns, while the ones in St. Joseph's are thicker white Doric columns. The columns in the Bialystoker are set back under the edge of the balcony, while the ones in St. Joseph's are flush with the edge of the balcony. Both columns are grooved. Moving on to slide 9, we can closely see the large molded half-round arched stained glass windows. The ones in the Bialystoker Synagogue depict geometric designs, the sun, grapevines, flowers, and the Star of David, while St. Joseph's depicts the scenes of significant Christian figures. This picture of St. Joseph's Church on the right was found on their website. It appears to be an original structure in the front of the sanctuary and was since replaced. Whatever it may be, resembles a front and center wooden arch or structure that reaches from floor to ceiling. Looking closer at each arch or structure, we can see that the Bialystoker Synagogue on the left has a tiered brown wooden arch with elaborate gold ornamentation and depictions of eagles, lions, crowns, tablets, and priestly references. It has multiple columns, mainly Ionic. St. Joseph's Church on the right has a simple revival-style doorway-esque structure, a broken segmented arch pediment, and a large entablature atop 2 columns, which appear to be Corinthian. An image of Jesus is painted in the center. Lastly, I feel that the swan-necked pediment and tablet-flanking lions are comparable to the broken pediment of St. Joseph's. Before we conclude, I wish to discuss a couple images of the narthex in the Bialystoker Synagogue. A narthex is a space that functions as a buffer between the outside world and the holy sanctuary. I was unable to find pictures of the narthex in St. Joseph's, but I felt that this is important enough to be included in this presentation. This space, along with the rest of the synagogue, is painted. The ceiling painting resembles coffering, which St. Joseph's has in the main sanctuary. These double doors lead into the main sanctuary, and the women access the balcony from the stairs on either side of the narthex, similar to St. Joseph's. The stairs in the back of the picture lead down to the basement, where there is a smaller, everyday sanctuary, kitchenette, and offices.